I wake up at 3:53 a.m. every single day. Doesn't matter how I feel, doesn't matter how I slept, doesn't matter what time I went to bed, doesn't matter if I slept through the night or was well rested, doesn't matter if I was up late, none of that shit. Regardless of anything, 3:53 a.m., my alarm goes off and I am up. Every single day, zero exceptions. Every time I say that, people ask me how it is that I do it, and my response is always the same. My alarm goes off, I get out of bed, and I don't lay back down. They think that I'm being a smartass, but I'm not. That's literally all there is to it. But the reason that they think that is because what they're actually asking me is, how do you make that easy and pleasant? And the answer is, you don't. And that is exactly what it is that holds most people back from ever being able to do anything. This is what prevents people from reaching their goals. Because this is what people are asking when they ask, how do you go to the gym consistently? They're not asking literally how it is that you do it. They're asking, how do you make it easy and pleasant and fun? How do you make it something that you want to do and always enjoy doing it? They ask the same thing with their diet. Well, how do you stick to this? How do you stick to these macros? How do you not eat these things? And they're not asking a question of functionality or ways of going about things. They are asking, how do I make this enjoyable? How do I eat less food than I'm used to eating and never be hungry? How do I not crave the things that I crave? How do I make the healthy foods my favorite foods as opposed to Taco Bell and McDonald's? And the answer to all of these things is the exact fucking same. You don't. None of the shit that's going to be good for you is ever always going to be is ever always going to feel good. None of the shit that's going to make you better is ever going to be enjoyable. That's just life. That's how things go. But people mistake this shit and they look at it the wrong way. They want to go on a diet, but they don't want to be hungry. They want to get up early, but they don't want to be tired. They want to work out, but they want to always be motivated. They want to accomplish all of these goals, but they want to have fun doing it and never be burnt out or feel like doing any of these other things. And that's not how the shit works. That's why people say all of the time, because it's factually true, that these things take discipline. The reason that they take discipline is because they are difficult, and they are supposed to be difficult. That's why they require discipline. If they were enjoyable, if there was a way to make these things infinitely enjoyable and desirable and fun, then they wouldn't take any discipline. The things that are infinitely enjoyable and desirable and fun is all of the shit that's bad for you. Sitting around playing video games is fun. Sitting around watching TV is fun. Hanging out and doing dumb shit with your friends is fun. Eating fucking shitty foods is enjoyable. Sleeping in is enjoyable. Running around chasing random girls is enjoyable. All of the shit that is enjoyable is a path to nowhere. It is fun up front, and that's what people look for, is what feels best in the moment. But what feels best in the moment winds up not feeling good long term. Sure, you hit the drive-through, the food tasted good, it was quick, it was easy, and you probably enjoyed eating it. But years down the road, after you continuously do that, you're going to wind up fat. You're going to wind up with a lot of health problems. You're going to wind up with really fucked up skin, maybe balding. I don't know if bad food contributes to that, but who knows? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but it will fuck up your testosterone. It will have all kinds of shitty effects down the road. Sleeping in every single day feels great. Yeah, I would love to not get out of bed until I'm very well rested, and that'd probably be 9, 10 a.m. every single day if I just let myself sleep until I woke up, and that would feel lovely in the moment when I did it. But years down the road, if I continuously do that every single day, then I'm going to wind up somewhere that I do not want to be. I'm going to wind up having missed out on a whole bunch of shit. I'm going to wind up having not accomplished a bunch of the shit that I set out to accomplish. Yes, I would love to be motivated every single time that I go to the gym. I would love to have the time of my life doing every single workout that I do, lifting every single weight and doing every single rep. I would love for that to be the most enjoyable thing in the world, but it's not. And if I only did it when it was enjoyable, then I would very rarely do it. If I go to the gym every single day, maybe once every other week, I'm super excited to work out. But other than that, I just do it anyway, because I know that while skipping the thing in the moment is what feels best, while eating the food in the moment is what feels best, while skipping your work and playing video games or sleeping in, I don't know if I already said that or not, or indulging in whatever garbage food, I don't know if I already said that or not, whatever the fuck it is that you want to do in the moment will feel good in that moment. But it's not about the moment. It's about the big picture. It's about the shit as a whole. It's about what these things are building to. Are you, if you're taking all of your little individual Lego pieces and stacking them together. Every single choice is a brick. And are you just scattering them about the little fucking flat thingy where you place it, the base, whatever the fuck it is that you call it, and just making a whole bunch of nothing over all of these years? Or are you stacking them very intentionally, and are you making a big giant castle or mansion or space station, whatever the fuck it is that floats your boat to make Lego wise? That's not entirely relevant. What are you stacking these things together to do? And if at the end of it, at the end of the journey, you want to have something that you are proud of, if you had to have something that you want, you're going to need to do all of the things that don't feel good in the moment. And you're going to need to stop looking for ways to make them feel good, because what you're telling yourself when you do that is that you are always supposed to feel good and be happy. And that's absolutely not fucking true. The path, or chasing happiness, is a path to nowhere, because by definition, just like every single other emotion, it is fleeting. And if that's what your primary goal, that's your primary desire, that's your primary driver, then you're always going to be chasing after something, and you're just going to wind up doing worse and worse and worse shit in order to achieve it. The person who smokes 50 fucking blunts a day started off, one puff got the motherfucker high to begin with. I used to smoke weed. When I first did, I took one hit of a blunt. I was like maybe 18, I think. I took a hit of a blunt and I was high as fuck for hours. My mouth was dry. I had the munchies. I couldn't do shit. The room was spinning and stuff. But the more that I smoked, the more that I needed to smoke. And after a certain point, it took so much weed to get me that same high, because you build up a tolerance to these things. It's the same thing with alcohol. If I haven't had a drink in years, if I was to take a sip of beer, probably I would be fucked up. But the more that you do it, the more that you build your tolerance, and the more that you need of it to get that exact same feeling. The same thing. This is how people wind up addicts. This is how people wind up fat, because they want to eat till they're full every single time, and they think that satiation is what it is that they need. And the more that you eat, the more that you're able to eat. If your goal is to be full, slowly but surely, little by little, it will take you more and more and more to be full. This is the problem with this stuff. This is the problem with chasing pleasure. This is the problem with chasing what feels good, because what feels good will always increase. That's the problem that people run into with porn. That's why porn is so damaging. When you're a fucking teenager and you see well, I don't know, a lot of y'all probably young and whatnot, but back in the day, they had like magazines. You see a naked bitch in the Playboy. It's like, oh, that's amazing. But after a while, you become numb to it, and you want to see more and more crazier shit. And that's the path that people go down with the pornography. Just the regular shit doesn't work, and they want all this extreme weird shit. That's how things work. That's the problem with it. Like you play video games, and for a while Tetris is fun to you, but then you need something bigger than Tetris, and then you need the fucking Grand Theft Auto, and you need Call of Duty online, because you need more and more to get that exact same hit of dopamine. That's why you can't run around chasing that shit. And all of the stuff that you need, the amount that you need to wind up doing it, is going to be bad. It is going to have lots of negative effects on your life. It's not going to build you into anybody that you want to be. It doesn't matter how good something feels in the moment. Everything in the world, everything in life has a price. And the price that you're paying for the stuff that feels good right now is your future. It's future you. It's better you. It's the best version of you. It's the fit body that you want. It's the big bank account that you want. It's the great relationship that you want. It's the house that you want to live in. It's the car that you want to drive. It's the life that you want to live. That's what all of this feel good now stuff costs you. People wind up paying on the back end because they don't understand that these things are a trade-off. In the opposite direction, the working out every day isn't fun in the moment. The eating great every day isn't fun in the moment. Getting up early isn't fun in the moment. Saying no to going out with your friends and drinking and whatever the fuck else it is that you want to do with your friends isn't fun in the moment. But that's the price you're paying now. You get your dividends on the back end. Your dividends of that are just the exact opposite of the other thing. It's the body that you want. It's the car that you want to drive. It's the house that you want to live in. It's the relationship that you want. It's the bank account that you want. It's the life that you want to live. You get all of those things farther down the road. But one way or another, you are going to make a trade-off. So the question is, do you want to trade? Do you want to sacrifice your future for your now, or are you willing to sacrifice your now for your future? That's what anyone who has ever accomplished anything ever at any point in time in the world has done. The people that you see that are in the best shape have sacrificed today in favor of tomorrow. The people that you see that are walking around fat as fuck have sacrificed tomorrow in favor of today. The rich people sacrifice today in favor of tomorrow. The poor people sacrifice tomorrow in favor of today. It just depends on what it is that's most important to you. But when you take this perspective, when you take this worldview, this idea, this concept, this belief that you need to figure out a way to make everything feel good, that you need to figure out a way to make everything enjoyable in the moment, you are robbing future you. You are killing who it is that you want to become, one decision at a time. The person that you envisioned yourself being as a child, the person who does and has all of these amazing things, who does the things that you see on TV, who has the things that you see on TV, who has the things that you read about, that you hear about, whatever the fucking case may be, that person exists, just not now. They exist later on down the road. They exist 5 years from now, 10 years from now. But the decisions that you make today decide whether or not that person will come to exist or whether or not that person is slowly going to die. What's the death by 1,000 cuts? Every single poor decision you make right now, whether it's eating the burger over the fucking chicken breast, whether it's staying up and talking to that girl instead of going to bed, whether it's playing video games over going to the gym, whether it's taking the day off instead of doing some extra work. Every single one of those are the tiny little cut that's going to killing future you. And eventually you are going to come to a point where you have bled that motherfucker to death because you have made so many bad decisions that he is dying, and it is your fault. You are the murderer of your potential with your choices that you make. And yes, it's never too late. You can come back, but the more that you cut, the more cuts that you make upon this future version of you, the more you have to band-aid before you can get back to neutral, before you can get back to normal, before you can get back to the level playing field. Yes, anyone that's fat can get in shape, but the fatter that you get, the more effort you have to put in just to getting to baseline before you start getting to where it is that you want to be. You have to get yourself back to level ground before you can start building up. But most people dig themselves into a hole so fucking deep that by the time they realize what it is that they've done and they want to turn it around to get out of it, they're so far down that it looks impossible to climb out of. It looks impossible for them to be able to scale this wall that they have created. So these are what all of the little seemingly nothing decisions do for you, is they either chip away at your future you or they build towards your future you. So when you're thinking about these things, how do you get up so early? You just get the fuck up early. Is it going to feel good? Rarely, but who gives a fuck? Because it's not about right now. It's not about what you're doing today. It's about what's going to happen tomorrow. How will this affect, or how will the effect of this decision build me into who it is that I would like to be? Yeah, sure, I want to sleep in today, but 10 years from now, I don't want to be someone who slept in every single day. I want to eat these burgers right now, but 10 years from now, I don't want to be someone who has eating burgers every single day. I want to skip my workout every single day, but 10 years from now, I don't want to be someone who has skipped 10 years worth of workouts. 10 years from now, I want to be someone who has been working out for the past 10 years. I mean, I've personally been working out for more than 10 years, but it's an example. You understand the point that I'm making. 10 years from now, I want to be someone who's been eating healthy for 10 years. 10 years from now, I want to be someone who's been getting up early every single day for 10 years. So you have to stop making these decisions based on what's best in the moment. It's not always going to feel good. And you know what? It's not fucking supposed to feel good. If it felt good, everybody would do it. If getting in shape felt great, everybody would be in shape. But you know what feels great? Getting fat. That's why everybody is fucking fat. You know what doesn't feel great though? Being fat. But all of the people who spent their time wanting to feel great moment to moment made all of the decisions to get themselves fat, and they enjoyed each and every single one of those decisions, but they did not enjoy the totality of their decisions, and that's what's important. It feels good, as counterintuitive as it might sound, doing things that are going to make you be poor. It feels good to frivolously spend your money. It feels good to put off your responsibilities. It feels good to blame your problems on everybody else. It feels good to complain about shit rather than actually taking action on it. That's why you hear people say all the time, I just want to vent, I just want to get off my chest and feel better. But whenever you do that, you are making yourself into someone who feels good about just whining about their problems without actually fixing it. And that is a fucking problem. But those things feel good in the moment, but the totality of those decisions feel like shit. And that's what you need to be concerned about. The bigger picture. It's not about the individual brush strokes. It's about the painting that's coming together. Yes, none of the individual brush strokes matter. And in the moment, it might feel good to, it might look more aesthetically pleasing to just put random color streaks across a fucking canvas. But when all of that comes together, you're just going to have a mishmash of nothing. Being super fucking technical and precise and figuring out where exactly to put your brush stroke in. I'm not a painter, quite honestly, so I'm just theorizing about how paintings come together. I have a generally decent idea. That's not the point. In the moment, it's much more difficult and time-consuming and annoying as fuck to sit there and figure out exactly which brush to use and where you want to put the brush stroke and how hard you want to press the brush on the piece of fucking canvas, however the fuck it is that goes into a painting. All of that's more annoying in the moment than just swiping shit across the fucking canvas. But at the end, whenever your picture comes together, your painting, your whatever it is that you would like to call it, comes together to create that work of art, that's what makes all of the individual brush strokes matter. So stop looking at shit as of how do I make this feel good now? You can't, you never will, and you're not supposed to. Stop looking at how is it that I can make this enjoyable for me every single time. You can't, and you're not supposed to, and you will never be able to. And you know what? That's a fucking good thing, because at the end of the day, everything that's desirable is desirable and valuable specifically because it's rare and nobody has it. That's why people want it. When you see Lamborghinis, you turn your head, even if you don't give a shit about the Lamborghini specifically itself, you're not a car person. When you see somebody driving by in a Phantom, you glance at it, you take a look, even if you're not a car person and don't give a fuck about a Rolls Royce, because that's a thing that you very rarely see. But unless you're a Honda Civic aficionado, when a Honda Civic drives by, you pay it no mind, because Honda Civics are fucking everywhere and nobody cares about that shit because they're abundant. None of the abundant things have the value that the rare things have. That's why diamonds are more valuable than, I don't know the name of other types of rocks, but rocks, gravel rocks, I don't know, normal ass fucking run-of-the-mill rocks. That's why those are more valuable. That's why bird watchers go and get their little binoculars for some sort of exotic whippoorwilled some shit. I don't know the names of a lot of birds, but whatever. And they don't give a fuck about the pigeons passing by, because the pigeons are everywhere. Rareness equals value. And when you do all of these things, you become a rare person. So it's a good thing that they are hard, because, again, if they weren't, everybody would have it and nobody would want it. It would lose all of its value if it's everywhere. That's why back in the day, back many, many years ago, when there was no electricity and all of this other shit, that people thought that being fat, that's what it is, being fat was a status symbol. And that's because at the time there were like 12 foods in existence and it was damn near impossible to get fat. So there were no fat people. So people saw the fat people and they were like, whoa, look at this person. Clearly this person has money and resources and all of this shit. That's how he was able to get fat. Nobody could fucking do it. Its value was based in its rarity. Not that there's something good about being fat. There's not. That's a nonsensical concept that the body positivity people talk about, but that's a whole entire separate point and or conversation. The point is, shit is difficult. Shit is supposed to be difficult. Not only is it supposed to be difficult, it's fucking good that it's difficult. Because if it wasn't difficult, you would want some whole other shit that will probably be even more difficult to acquire. Stop trying to figure out how to feel good and just start trying to figure out how to get shit done. And quite honestly, it's never really that fucking complicated. Some things are as easy as just doing it. You can just go to the gym. You can just eat less food. You can just get up earlier. You can just work more. You can just stop drinking alcohol. You can just stop smoking weed. You can just stop being an introvert and go out and do extroverted things. You can just do all of those things. What holds people back is trying to figure out how to make it feel good. It won't. Get the fuck over it.